And so yesterday at our little show lunch, we found out who was doing the seventh inning stretch that day, and it was Jim Belushi.
And we had a conversation yesterday, and I brought that to the air today. Our conversation: would you guys want Jim Belushi to want us to interview Jim Belushi and talk to him about some potentially compelling stuff? We did a Twitter poll, and it's not going well.
About 78% of the audience says no. He's a fake Cub fan. He's a phony. He's a jag. He doesn't have real Chicago bona fides. He only shows up when it's opportunistic. I, for one, am interested because I don't really care if it goes poorly, and I'd be interested in John Belushi stories and asking him what he thinks, like how did Jim Belushi become polarizing? I think that would be an interesting conversation to have.
Our colleague called in and said that he wanted to defend the character and honor of one Jim Belushi, and we are thrilled to welcome the legendary Cubs overnight broadcaster Les Grobstein to the Score. Hello, Les.
Speaks, how are you? Hi, Danny.
Hi, Les. It's an honor to talk to you.
I knew we were going to get a chance to talk at some point. Where you actually hosted my show, about almost a year ago?
Yeah, well, it wasn't that long ago. It was probably 8 months ago, 9 months ago now. Yeah, you're right. Should never correct Les Grobstein. He's got a tremendous memory.
Yeah, he's on it.
And because I filled in for you, and it was a pseudo audition for this job. Your text line was very confused with my style versus your style. I will say that.
Well, we're like snowflakes, no two alike, and that's kind of the cool thing about it.
Yes, that's exactly right. But so you were listening to the show, and we appreciate that. And you want to defend Jim Belushi's honor here? You want to stump for him to come on the show?
First of all, I've known Jim Belushi about 33, 34 years. He is not a fake Cub fan. He's a real Cub fan. Heck, he did a movie, Taking Care of Business, in which the Cubs actually won the series, beating the Angels, and Mark Grace hit a home run, and they actually had to have him hit a bunch of pitches off Bert Blyleven until they got the proper take, but it was actually done at Anaheim Stadium. I've known the guy a long time. He is a true Blackhawk fan. He is a true Cub fan, and has been for a long time. As far as why people are so polarized on him, I will compare that to Chip Caray. When Chip came here, and this was from Chip's mouth, not from mine, a lot of people were on his case because he was not Harry Caray. And what Chip said was, he says, everybody wishes Harry was here. He says, I wish he was here, but guess what? He's not coming through the door at this point. Of course, Harry had passed away several months earlier. In the case of Jim Belushi, I think a lot of people are ticked off that he's not John Belushi. They were big John Belushi fans, and I guarantee you that Jim feels the same way about his late brother. He wishes John was going to be around, but unfortunately he's not going to be coming through. But I've known the guy since probably about 1983, 84. One real quick story. When the Bears were in Super Bowl 20 against the Patriots, I was down there all week long. There were other stories involved with that. We're not going to go into that today. But I had to fly home for a Saturday UIC game. I was still doing UIC hockey and basketball.
Of course you did. Yeah, your schedule's always been outrageous. Go ahead.
So I came back and did the game, and then I never returned my rental car. I still had it at Louis Armstrong Airport down there, and I flew back Sunday morning early, and I was in first class going down there.
Wow.
And there were two other people across the aisle up there. There was a guy and a woman. And anyway, the flight attendant comes by, and we're just talking. We're talking about what's going to happen with the game and everything else.
Of course.
I said, the good news is I've still got my rental car waiting for me. I just got to jump in it and drive back to the hotel in, near downtown, very close to the Superdome.
Spare no details here, Les.
A guy yells out and says, "Hey, could I get a ride?" And I looked up, I go, "Jim!" And I had already known him for a couple of years. I said, "Yeah, of course." He had a lady with him. I don't know if it was a girlfriend or just an acquaintance, but I gave both of them a ride in, and we're just talking all the way in. And all he kept saying is, "There's no way they're going to lose this game, is there?" I mean, he was frightened that we're going to see a typical Chicago thing. I said, "Jimmy, trust me. They can throw their jock straps on the field. They're going to crush this team today." It turned out, I saw him again after the game, and he said, "I'm glad you were right. Thank you for being." And I've seen him millions of times since then. I've seen him people think he only goes to Blackhawk games when they're big games in the playoffs. I've run into him at regular run-of-the-mill games. When the Hawks were terrible and they were drawing 5,000 people a game, he was still out there rooting for the Hawks when he was in town and when he wasn't in California.
Les, can you get Jim Belushi on the show next Thursday? Yes or no?
Yes.
You know him so well. Can you get him on? Yes or no?
I can't give you either answer. I would say if he's out there, you got to pretty much get to him and ask him. I know I won't be. If I was, I could probably go up to him and ask him. But Jim, I know this much. I tried to get him on my show.
Yeah, I was going to say, screw us. Les is the one with the relationship. Les should get him on.
Well, if he was going to come on with anybody, he knows he could trust me. He knows I'm not setting him up for anything like that. But the bottom line is, I'm not going to be out there, so I can't really help you that way. I don't have his cell phone or his private number.
Hey, one more quick thing for you, Les, and you are the best. You are indefatigable and completely one of a kind, a snowflake for sure. When I say that we are broadcasting from the bleachers, obviously you think of Harry, you think of Len and Bob Brenly, Len and JD every once in a while, but who else? Vince Lloyd, Lou Boudreau, did those guys do broadcasts from the bleachers?
Vince and Lou didn't, and I knew Vince and Lou very well, too. In fact, I've got a photograph of Vince, Lou, Harry, Jack, and Ron Santo, and me. I'm the only person still alive in that photo.
Wow.
But they had a lot of fun with each other and stuff like that. But Harry was really the first guy that started doing it from the bleachers. He did it when he was broadcasting White Sox games.
Yep.
He used to sit out at Comiskey Park in the bleachers, and he started singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at White Sox games. And then he carried it over in 1982 when he started doing the Cub games.
It's awesome. Les, thank you.
Thank you, Les. We appreciate your insight.
I wasn't ready for him to stop. I got thrown off guard.
Thank you, Les.
You are amazing. Enjoy your show tonight. Are you on tonight?
You were on early tonight. We got 11 o'clock till 5 o'clock in the morning, and we should have fun with that. I know anytime the Cubs lose, the calls are, for whatever reason, a little more active than when they win. I guess people get bored when they win, but when they lose, people start calling in and panicking and stuff. You guys know. You get the same thing.
Yeah, we had a Fire Joe Madden text from earlier today. So
I've gotten stuff like that, too, and got a bunch of idiots that call in for certain things. The other thing I keep getting is, when is DePaul going to go to the Horizon League? I'm going to turn to these idiots. I go, the next person that calls and says, when are they either going to the Horizon League or back to Conference USA? I said, you're going to be dumped in the river.
Oh, damn. I was going to ask you about it next.
No, don't do it.
We'll do it next time. Thank you, Les. We appreciate you.
Schools, they can't have Conference USA.
Totally agree.
No, I feel the same way.
Ridiculous.
Thank you, Les.
I feel the same way.
Thank you,
Les.
Bye, guys.
All right, man. You're the best.
That's Les Grobstein on the Home Run In Pizza Hotline.
Do you know how you host 5 to 6 hours overnight for what, 40 years, 30 years on different stations all over the place?
120, I think.
I mean, just like you just have to be able to go, just to be able to wind yourself up and go. And that's what Les can do. Wow.